Hey, I'm Rutledge,
And I'm Steven.
and we're Friend Stream Sports. We're real friends with real sports in real time, and it's really good to have you back, Steven.
Man, it's so good to be back.
I know. So, as we talked about in our promo video and preview, Steven is here. So, we're going to spend some time talking about football because FCS football is here. But let's go. Let's push ready and let's get in there. We're going to play 49ers versus Eagles. Steven, tell the people why we're playing 49ers versus Eagles.
Because in honor of the whole FCS show kind of theme, we're going with two quarterbacks that started their college career or played their college career at an FCS school. I'm doing the Eagles, the Eagles with Carson Wentz, who played at North Dakota State University.
And I have old Jimmy G, who I didn't realize went to Eastern Illinois until today. So you learn something every day. It's a wonderful world of knowledge. So we're at Levi's Stadium, which is a cool place, which of course replaced Candlestick Park. We're gonna play 49ers Eagles, break down the college football, and I'm gonna kick the ball. So here we go. It's gonna be now. What is that? What are you wearing? What is that?
That is the I don't know. It said it was the 2007 alternate uniform
Alternate
for
uniform to what?
apparently Philadelphia, like powder blue and yellow. I don't know.
I don't. I feel like this looks like a uniform. Ah, spin, run. It looks like a uniform that they took pictures of in black and white and they tried to restore and they just don't know what that is. Okay, so
One of
anyways,
those like colorized.
yeah, they colorized it. Look at the pictures of the 1920s that are colorized, and this is what we got. Well, either way, I'm gonna wear San Francisco's all black uniform, which is just as strange because that's not what they're built for. All right, so let's kick it off, Steven. We're talking FCS. We're going to talk everything, but this year's FCS season is different. So what are they doing different? Because normally it's in the fall, right? And they just elected to opt out. So how is it working for them now?
So far so good as far as I know. Each conference is doing things a little bit differently. I know some conferences are playing like only a 6 game conference schedule, and then some are only playing like an 8 game conference schedule.
Oh, when does the slant fail me?
Oh, um, but another thing is some FCS schools actually did play a couple of games in the fall. So the selection committee, I guess, for the playoffs are going to actually take in consideration those games as well.
Yeah, one of those games, of course, is we watched Georgia Southern with its like 30-something people out play against the Campbell Camels, which Campbell is an FCS school, and that was a nail biter of a game.
Oh man, yes it was.
You were there. How was that?
That was one of those where you just like, I really wish I would have stayed home.
Yeah, I think we were 3 touchdown favorites and we won by maybe 3 points, and it was a struggle. But that's the beauty of FCS football, is that there's some stud athletes on some teams that they just couldn't get into a bigger school, couldn't get the opportunity, and they take it. Um, I when you talk about conferences taking different games, there is pick that. There we go. There's the Patriot League. They're only playing 4 conference games altogether, where a conference like the SoCon, which has teams like the Citadel in it, is going to play 8 games. So, Steven, what do you think about in that this is a playoff group? What do you think about being compared to that some schools they're not all playing the same amount of games?
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that because that comes back to the Ohio State thing and like how how I felt when they got into the playoffs with only playing 3 or 4 games less than everyone else. It
Right.
FCS is a little bit different, I guess. The the quality of teams, I guess, are more even across the board. So perhaps you can make a better judgment with fewer games.
Yeah, this year totally blew up with who was going to do what, because you're right, you did have the Ohio State, who didn't really play a full schedule, didn't really do very well, but then you had a Notre Dame who played a full schedule, did run undefeated, but they obviously in the playoff came up big time short, and a bunch of us were sitting there just not liking them going into the playoff.
Hmm.
It's big. Connor and I on this are just huge believers in the eye test. Is that how good do you look on paper versus other ones? And you bring up a good point that FCS schools are really good at the eye test because you're going to know who's good and who's not just by watching the film.
Right. Another point with this the FCS playoff system in comparison to like the FBS is all the 10 conferences of FCS, the championship gets an auto bid to the playoffs. So the playoffs are going to be a 16-team playoff this year. That's already 10 spots filled. So really, they only have to really choose 6 teams.
That's huge. I bet the Pac-12 wishes it had that.
Right.
Yeah. So they're gonna have that. When is the playoff this year? Did you see?
Yeah, it's sometime in late April, early May. I think it's the last couple of weekends or the last weekend, first weekend, something like that.
Yeah. So they're going to do that. They allow the playoff, and as Steve and I will talk about later in the show, when we were at Georgia Southern University together, you did have, you would sit there and stare at the 16 spot in the rankings and just hope that that was going to be you. I don't even understand how that happened. That doesn't happen in real football. For our podcast listeners, I threw a lob pass up there. My receiver goes up to get it and just somehow bounces off of him into the air. Madden for you. 2nd and 10. So they were going that. So we're going to talk about some standing in the playoffs because we have to talk about who is at least good right now. So Steven, who is the top 6 for the FCS right now for football?
So number 1 we have James Madison. 2's Weber State.
Oh, that's another pick.
3 is North Dakota State. 4 is UNI. Oh, you got me.
Gotcha.
At number 5 is North Dakota State, and 6 is Villanova. So that's the top 6 teams.
Yeah, that's a big shout out there. The famous basketball school Villanova is an FCS football school to where they just aren't the football power that you're used to seeing them being. So, try to stop this run. So, Steven, out of there, who is your kind of favorite going into this? Who do you like going into the FCS playoffs?
I really like James Madison. They've been a pretty consistent power for a long time. They just can never seem to get the job finished. And I think with North Dakota State being kind of down, I don't want to say down, but they've actually been beaten once already, that this is their opportunity to take advantage and get another championship. I think they've got 2 so far.
Yeah, I am actually going to still put my eggs into the North Dakota State basket in the sense of that because Trey Lance is such a highly regarded quarterback. And, oh, nice pass. Touchdown, Steven.
I actually hit the wrong button. I wasn't even trying to throw to him.
That makes me feel worse. That makes me feel a lot worse. Like, I've thrown 2 picks. You have a wrong button touchdown. And I haven't won a game on Friends Stream Sports in months to where, like, our last show, if you didn't catch it,
wow.
Wouldn't be Friends Stream Sports without missing the field goal. Our last show, if you didn't catch it, Connor and I were playing NBA 2K together of Suns-Lakers, and it had to be pretty down to the wire that I had to work for it to beat him, and Connor's beaten me in NBA 2K all the time, and he's just kind of giving takes and talking and doing everything and just giving me pure dunk face, so I don't like my odds here. I feel like for someone with a sports talk show on sports video games, I should be better at this.
Well, I'm not that great at Madden either.
That makes me feel worse.
But I was just about to say, I think I am undefeated against you playing on the show.
Yeah, that one night we didn't play together, I destroyed you. And did we push record? No, we sat there and didn't. When you played Connor, did you beat Connor or did he beat you?
No, he beat me, I think, by like 2 touchdowns.
Dang.
Or something like that, but I know he beat me.
Well, hopefully one day we'll make it better. But in regards to FCS, I'm actually going to go North Dakota State. They have been very much a dynasty, which we'll get into later, and I'm going to put them as my kind of pick in the sense of I don't want to call them the Alabama of the FCS, but they're very much, you shouldn't pick against them until they give you a reason to pick against them. And kind of like
Right.
Alabama. Yes, they can lose, but I'm a big believer in college football. You can lose at the right time and still make a really big run.
And like Alabama, they don't lose often though. They just lost last week, and that was the first time in 34 games.
Do you remember who they lost to?
Uh, Not off the top of my head.
I don't either. Okay, catch this. That's the second pass
Yeah.
you missed.
And actually, that was their second streak of 30 straight wins. They had a streak, I want to say around 2011, 2012, that ended at 32 or 33 games.
They lost to Southern Illinois,
That's right.
which is a pretty capable football program for George Kittle. You got to catch those. Pretty capable football program for FCS. So anyways, FCS is going on. There's a lot happening. We're getting ready to transition out of this quarter. I'm feeling North Dakota State. You're feeling James Madison. Every league is kind of doing their own thing. It's going to be a big eye test, but that's where it's so funny that I've never remember having a conversation saying, "Oh man, the FCS rankings are just picked because of such and such." It's all about their athletic skill in that level and who's good and who has the recruits and who works with the system. Go, go,
Oh,
go, 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 go. Bam. Touchdown to end the quarter. Tie ball game.
good night, man.
San Francisco, Philadelphia, FCS, Steven, Friend Street Sports, 8 o'clock on Twitch. Back and better than ever.
All right, now miss this field goal for me.
I'm not missing the field goal.
Nope, you sure got it.
I got it. Listen, you don't
Okey-doke.
understand. In this show, I was more nervous. I'm more nervous kicking field goals than I was proposing to my wife because of how intense those are.
I can understand that because I didn't have too much issues with mine either.